It has been called the perfect prescription of the word and laughter. Cathy Peters-Sidebottom started writing a column in her church newsletter. That column became awfully popular, even catching the eye of a Tri-Cities publishing company. We'll take a look at her column now. It is actually a book that is titled, "I Will Lift Up My Eyes to the Hills." We are pleased to have her on the show with us this morning. We want to welcome Cathy Peters-Sidebottom to Daytime. Good to have you.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So you started writing a church column for the newsletter.
Yes. I started back in about 2008. I belong to Edgefield Methodist in Piney Flats, and people were very receptive to my articles. I like to infuse them with some humor as well as some family values. I grew up in a family that found humor in most everything.
Which is always nice. Gets you through a lot of things, doesn't it?
Yes. And I've said anyone who has come into contact with me is fair game for my articles because I pretty much will, write about it. So, you know, you could be in a future article.
I better stay on my toes, right?
You could be there.
Well, tell me a little bit about some of the things that you write about, because you say everyday life, but you also write about your past, your childhood, growing up in the country, coal miner's daughter.
Yes, I grew up in the coal fields of West Virginia, lived there most of my life. I've been in Tennessee since 2000, but my father worked for coal mines, and back then it was the typical coal camp where the coal company did everything for you. So, you know, a very sheltered life. After I graduated from high school, I graduated from Marshall University in Huntington, and so I've just had a lot of interesting experiences, and of course, all of my stories are infused with a little fiction or twist to make them more interesting, but my family is just, you know, they're out there to where you can just write about almost anything and it's going to hit and stick.
Something about a crazy sister in Washington, maybe, or something?
Yeah, somebody said my sister called here wanting to know how to find the show, so I'm going to have to go home and call her and tell her where she can find it.
There you go. And I was reading just a few of your stories here, and they're real short, couple pages at the most, and they always come back with sort of a meaning for you and what you sort of learned through that. And then there's always something a little bit witty there at the end that kind of provides that humor.
Well, I was raised in a Christian home. My parents were together for 61 years, and so faith has always been at the core of my being, and it just made sense when I started writing the articles to give them a turn to where maybe they could give someone a boost in the right direction. There's a couple of articles that deal with loss and different ways that you can deal with loss without being in complete and total mourning for the rest of your life. And so, you know, I try to bring them all back to some kind of a meaningful spiritual end.
Yeah, I noticed that in several of them. So, Cathy, you're still writing because your church wouldn't let you stop.
No,
Just because you're a published author now, you're still going to write for the newsletter, right?
Yeah, I still get it every month, you know. Send me your articles. And so they're still going out.
Well, and she says she's going to have another book too, and she's also working on a novel. So we want to give everybody the information. You can get your book at Jan Carroll Publishing.
Jan Carroll Publishing, Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, Barnes & Noble. And I'm just very excited that the reception it has received. So.
Well, congratulations, Cathy. Come see us again, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're back with more of Daytime Tri-Cities right after this. Stay with us.